Welcome back to Voices Between. And if you're just joining us for the first time, well, this is where we take these incredible Spiritist texts, the ones that can feel a little dense sometimes.
A little intimidating for sure.
Exactly. And we try to bring them to life. We read them, and we have a really honest conversation about what they mean for us right here, right now.
It's great to be here. And today we're continuing our deep dive into a book that I think is it's so essential for navigating the day-to-day spiritual life. We're in our daily bread.
Or oponoso
Yeah.
in the original Portuguese.
Yeah.
And this comes to us, of course, from the Spirit Emmanuel through the mediumship of Chico Xavier.
And we are zeroing in on chapter 89. The title is Blessings.
Okay, and right away we have to talk about that title. Because when you hear blessings, your mind goes to a very specific place, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's the promotion at work, finding a great parking spot, good health. It's all the things going right.
It's the hashtag blessed. And it almost always means comfort, abundance, ease.
But that is not where Emmanuel is going with this. Not at all. He is about to take that entire concept and completely turn it on its head.
It feels like he's setting a trap for our assumptions. You open the chapter expecting, I don't know, a warm hug.
And you get a challenge, a really profound one. This chapter tackles what is, it's arguably the single hardest idea in spiritual life.
The meaning of suffering.
The meaning of suffering and why it might not be the enemy we think it is.
It's the lesson we all want to skip, but Emmanuel won't let us.
Yeah.
So here's how we'll do this. We are going to read the entire chapter, word for word. We want you to really hear the rhythm and the message as it was intended.
Let's do it.
I'll start with the scripture that anchors the chapter.
Okay.
Blessed are you when men hate you, when they exclude you and insult you and reject your name as evil because of the Son of Man. Jesus, Luke 6:22.
The problem of the blessings requires serious reflections before being interpreted as a resolved question in the framework of knowledge.
Jesus confers the credential of blessed to the followers that share with him the afflictions and the tasks. Notwithstanding, it is important to point out that the Master classifies sacrifices and suffering as educational and redeeming blessings.
It is necessary then to know how to accept them.
This or that individual will be blessed for having created goodness within material poverty, by finding happiness in simplicity and in peace, for knowing how to maintain a long and divine hope in his heart.
However, what about the sincere adherence to the sacred obligations of the title?
The Master, upon reviewing teachings, refers to the eternal blessings, but there are a rare few that get close to them with that perfect understanding of one who approaches an immense treasure.
The majority, the less fortunate on the terrestrial plane, upon being visited by pain, prefer the lament and despair.
If they are invited to give testimony on renunciation, they slip to improper demands and almost always, instead of working peacefully, get involved in undignified adventures in which they get lost in an uncontrolled ambition.
Jesus offered a great deal of blessings. However, only a rare few desire them.
For this reason, there are so many poor and many afflicted people who could be in great need in the world, but who are, as yet, not blessed by heaven.
And that's the full text of chapter 89.
Okay, wow. Let's just sit with that for a second. That last line is,
Yeah.
It's a gut punch.
It is.
In great need, but who are, as yet, not blessed by heaven. It means you can be suffering, you can be in absolute agony, and get zero spiritual credit for it.
And that's the core of it, isn't it? That is why this is such a critical teaching. There's this idea, even in spiritual circles, that suffering itself makes you holy.
Right, that being miserable automatically gets you closer to God.
Exactly. And Emmanuel is saying, no, suffering is just raw material. It's potential energy. It only becomes a blessing based on what you do with it. It's the alchemy you perform.
He calls them educational and redeeming blessings. That word, educational, it changes everything. It's not a punishment, it's a classroom.
That's the perfect analogy. Think about a prison versus a gym. In both places, you're under strain, you're sweating, there's pain, but the purpose is completely different.
One is punishment, the other is growth.
Precisely. In a prison, the suffering is retributive. In a gym, it's constructive. It's building you up. Emmanuel is saying Earth is a gym, but so many of us treat it like a prison. We just keep rattling the bars.
So when he says Jesus gives the credential of blessed to those who share the afflictions, it's like spiritual resistance training.
Yes. It's all about becoming stronger, You can't build a strong immune system if you live in a sterile bubble. Well, you can't build a strong spirit if you're shielded from every single conflict, every loss, every time you hear the word no.
The friction is the point. The friction is the blessing.
It is. It's what forces the soul to develop those muscles of patience, resilience, and, real faith.
But here's the problem. Here's where we get into the weeds. Because our human instinct, our biology, is to run from that friction. Pain feels wrong.
It feels like a threat.
Yeah. If I'm hurting, if my bank account is shrinking, if I'm lonely, my brain screams, wrong. Something is wrong. Fix it now.
And that is the biological wiring Emmanuel is asking us to override with spiritual logic. It's a complete mindset shift. He's not saying you just receive good things. He's saying a blessing is sharing with him the afflictions and the tasks.
Sharing the hard parts. And that leads to what I think is the most fascinating and maybe the most dangerous phrase in this whole chapter.
I think I know where you're going.
Undignified adventures. I circled it like 3 times. Instead of working peacefully, get involved in undignified adventures.
It's such a great phrase. It's the great escape, isn't it? When the pressure is on, the poverty, the failure, whatever it is, the ego just wants out.
So an undignified adventure is any shortcut we take to dodge the lesson.
Any attempt to solve a spiritual problem with a purely material and often compromised solution.
Okay, so let's make that real. You're in a financial crisis. That's the visit of pain. The potential blessing is learning simplicity, trust, maybe creativity. But the undignified adventure would be, what? Lying on a loan application.
Exactly. Or a shady business deal. Or throwing a coworker under the bus to save your own job. You're thinking, I have to make this pain stop. And you grab for the quickest, easiest solution.
And you might even fix the immediate problem. You might get the money.
Right. From the outside, it might look like you won. But spiritually, you've just rejected the blessing. You failed the pop quiz.
You block the actual redemption. He says they're invited to give testimony on renunciation, and they slip. Pronunciation sounds so severe.
But it's not just about giving up stuff. It's about giving up the demand that things have to be different than they are in this exact moment. It's active acceptance.
That feels connected to the improper demands he mentions. We're trying to bargain with the universe. Okay, God, I'll be a good person, but you have to fix this for me first.
Yes, I'll be a spiritist as long as it's convenient and profitable. But Emmanuel asks about sincere adherence to the sacred obligations. The obligation isn't to be comfortable. It's to be loving, especially when it's hard.
Which brings us right back to that opening scripture about being hated. Blessed are you when men hate you, because of the Son of Man. We have to tread really carefully here.
Oh, this is a huge one. This is the martyr complex trap.
Right, because some people are just liked just because, well, they're just not very nice.
Exactly. You can't be a jerk to everyone at work and then go, oh, I'm being so persecuted for my faith. No, you're just being a jerk.
You stole someone's yogurt from the fridge. That's not a blessing. That's a consequence.
It's cause and effect. If you're excluded because you're arrogant or lazy or self-righteous, that's on you. The key is in the because.
Because of the Son of Man?
Which in our language means because you are living an example of love and truth, so we need some kind of filter to tell the difference.
A filter of love. I like that.
Let's use it. A business deal falls through. A friendship ends. Before you despair, you run it through the filter. Was I acting with love? Was my intention charitable? Was I honest?
Did I lose this opportunity because I refused to lie or because I refused to compromise my ethics?
Right. And if the answer is yes, if you were rejected because you were trying to do the right thing,
then that's the blessing.
that's the confirmation. You've just clashed with the world's undignified adventures and the world pushed back. That pain you feel is growing pains.
And it is painful. When you try to do good and people call you evil or naive or stupid for it, that isolation is real.
It is, and that's the affliction you're sharing. But Emmanuel says it's an immense treasure because in that moment, you're building your foundation on something real, not on social approval. You're building divine hope.
Let's touch on that idea of resignation, because in English, resignation sounds so passive. It sounds like giving up. But the text says working peacefully.
That's the key. True spiritual resignation is active, not passive. Passive is, well, life is hard, guess I'll just lie down and wait for it to be over.
Which is just despair.
It's despair. Active resignation is, okay, this situation is incredibly difficult. I will not revolt against it with anger or cheat my way out of it. I'm going to work peacefully right here and find a way to create goodness in the middle of this mess.
Like the text says, creating goodness within material poverty. You're lighting a candle instead of just cursing the darkness.
And that's the law of merit in action. The blessing isn't some random gift from God. It's the direct consequence of your spiritual labor. You own that peace.
You know, this whole chapter really challenges what it means to be religious, doesn't it? People who wear the title of Christian or Spiritist, but use it to build walls and exclude people.
It's the great irony. If your spiritual community is always safe, always comfortable, always agrees with you, are you really facing the blessing of persecution Jesus talked about? Or are you just in a very nice, very exclusive club?
Oof. Yeah. If your faith never makes you uncomfortable, you might not be doing it right.
If it never costs you anything, socially, financially, then you have to wonder if you're practicing the radical love that was taught. Because that kind of love always disrupts the status quo, and the status quo does not like to be disrupted.
Well, let's be honest for a minute. That's a lonely path. The text itself says a rare few desire them. I mean, it's not a great sales pitch, is it? Hey, come join us. You'll be misunderstood and people will insult you.
Terrible marketing. But it's fantastic spiritual engineering. You can't build a hurricane-proof bridge with untested steel. You can't build an eternal spirit without stress testing its integrity.
I think the loneliness part is what gets people. Being excluded. In this age of social media and public opinion, having your name rejected as evil, that's terrifying.
It's a primal fear. As a species, we're wired for community. Rejection used to literally mean death, so our nervous system panics.
So what's the answer? At 3 a.m. when you feel totally alone in your struggle.
The text gives it to us. Maintaining a long and divine hope in the heart. It sounds poetic, but it's practical. It's about cultivating that inner sanctuary, the upper room.
So even if the world outside closes its doors.
There's a door inside that's always open, a place where you are never excluded because you are in communion with the divine. Your sense of worth becomes vertical, between you and God, instead of horizontal, between you and your peers.
That is a beautiful way to put it. If your self-worth is horizontal, you're always at the mercy of other people's opinions.
But if it's vertical, you can be hated by the world and still be working peacefully because you know who you are. And you start to see that rejection is actually a form of protection.
How so?
It protects you from the illusion that your happiness depends on outside approval. It forces you to dig your own well to find that source of peace inside. That's the redeeming part of the blessing. It redeems you from dependency.
That is a total 180-degree turn from how we normally operate. We think, I'll be happy when
I get that thing when they apologize.
Right. And this is saying, I am blessed now in this mess because this mess is my gym.
It's the ultimate freedom. But it takes so much courage, which is why only a rare few desire them. It's hard to choose a clear conscience with a difficult life over a compromised one with an easy life.
Those undignified ventures are so tempting. I'll be thinking about that phrase all week.
It's a very polite, very Emmanuel way of saying selling your soul.
It is. Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, let's make this really practical. Tomorrow morning, life is going to happen. The traffic, the difficult boss, the unexpected bill.
And that default setting, lament and despair, is going to be right there waiting.
So I want to invite you, the listener, and honestly myself, to ask a question when things go wrong. Instead of, why me? What if we ask, am I being tempted by an undignified adventure right now?
Am I looking for a shortcut to get out of this lesson? I love that. And maybe add, where is the educational blessing hidden in this?
It's about spotting the classroom before you spiral.
And I'd add one small action step. We talked about that filter of love. The next time you face a rejection, big or small, just pause. For 1 second. Don't react.
Just breathe and run it through the filter. Was my action coming from a place of love and integrity?
Right. And if your conscience is clear, if the answer is yes, try to do something really radical. Try to whisper, thank you.
Thank you for the rejection. That's hard.
Thank you for the confirmation. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the chance to get stronger. It flips the switch inside you from being a victim to being a student. And a student always has power.
That's the whole journey, isn't it? From afflicted to blessed.
It is. You transform the improper demands into divine hope.
Well, this was a heavy one, but a good one. Our daily bread always packs a punch.
Tiny chapters, huge wisdom. And this is definitely one to keep in your spiritual first aid kit for the hard days. A reminder that the storm isn't a punishment. It's what makes the roots grow deep.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. It's not always easy to talk about these things, but it's the real work.
It is. And just remember, we are all on this path of the rare few together. You're not alone in it.
So until next time, may you find the courage to accept the blessings of the difficult path. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye for now.